You guys want to go to Tibet? All right, let's go to Tibet. Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back on board and Waypoints Aviation, Airbus A320 in our flight simulator here in Dubai. That's the physical position of the simulator, but virtually speaking, I am in Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi. New Delhi, I'm in India, in the capital. And yep, as I told you in the intro, today I actually have plans of taking you guys over to what could be considered a very high altitude airport, which is in Tibet. All right, so I'm basically just setting up the cockpit right now. I'm gonna do a quick APU fire test, and now we can get the APU started. Actually, I need to turn this on and this on here as well, and then I can come and start the APU. And then once the APU is ready, we'll be able to get some nice air-conditioned air into the aircraft. So today, we're going to leave from Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi, and we're going to fly north towards Tibet. And I've heard that this is one of the highest airports in the world. It probably sits at about 11,000 feet above sea level, something like that. We'll study more about it in the briefing. And I was supposed to go down south, but what I figured was, since I'm here in this region, I can do Tibet, then I can come down towards Myanmar. Then from Myanmar, I could probably do Bangkok in Thailand, then come down to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and then Singapore, Indonesia. And then once I've done Indonesia, I could potentially then either go east towards Papua New Guinea, or I could go west then towards Sri Lanka, and then onwards into Africa. But for now, my plan is to take us further deeper into the Far East, and yeah, so that's my plan. That's what we're going to do today. And also I'm going to try and do a little tutorial for you guys today on energy management using the FCU. All right, so all of that is coming up in the moments to come. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight. Let's head over to our pre-flight briefing. Alright, back in SimBrief, and we're gonna go ahead and start, preparing this, the whole planning of this flight. Just gonna plug in our details, which is Waypoints Aviation 320. We're currently at Indira Gandhi, which is Victor India Delta Papa. And the airport I'm going to is right over here, which is Lhasa Gonggar Airport. It's in Tibet. And it's in the Lhasa region, and the interesting thing about this airport is it sits at 11,800 feet above sea level. That's about 3,600 meters. I'm on the Wikipedia page, by the way. And interestingly, I think this would be considered one of the highest altitude airport in the world. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below. But anyways, 11,800, I've never done that before, so this is going to be interesting for me too. And yep, so looking at the airport over here, you can see that we do have one runway, and it's 27 and 18 in direction, sorry, 09 and 27. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting, and the ICAO code is Zulu Uniform Lima Sierra. All right, so I'm going to come back to SimBrief, Zulu Uniform Lima Sierra, and I'm going to leave the alternate as auto, and let's put that over there. In fact, what we could do is, since we're going past Nepal, I'm going to put Kathmandu as our alternate. And as you can see, yeah, we take off and we pretty much fly west and slightly north towards Lhasa, heading like deep into the regions of the mountains regions over there of Tibet. We're going to do a caution index of 25 today, and I've chosen the correct aircraft as well, and I do not need ETOPS, and I'm going to give myself about 15 minutes of taxi out time, maybe about 10 minutes of taxi in, just to be on the safe side. And according to the weather right now in Indira Gandhi Airport, the weather, so if I come up here and I go to airports, and I'm gonna bring up VIDP. This is how I plan things, guys. So yeah, VIDP, we go to weather. And guys, if you do not have a subscription for Navigraph or SimBrief, get it. It's so much more useful, and it will definitely add a lot of value and quality to your simming, you know. And yeah, looking at the METAR right now, winds are 290 at 5 knots, visibility of 6,000 meters, temperature 33 with a dew point of 19, and a QNH of 1011. So given that the winds are 290, yeah, we're gonna go with runway 29 right. Actually, no, that's still under construction if I'm not mistaken, so I'm just gonna take runway 28. All right, I came in on that runway, I'll depart on that runway. Yeah, change my SIDs and stars for that. And runway 27 right is what's expected in Lhasa. Altitude, I'm gonna leave that as auto. And as always, we've got 180 passengers on board. I'll keep freight as auto and payload as auto. And our zero fuel weight is 59,343 as usual. And look over there, we're using the Ali 6 Bravo SID to get us out of here. And we're looking at a total distance of 829 nautical miles in terms of our flying distance. And apparently over here you can see the world map right on via Navigraph, and it also gives us weather overlays and stuff like that, so this will be interesting. So if I bring up the weather radar for that, it looks like the weather is looking pretty good over the next few hours. You know, some rain, thunderstorms all in the southern side, but nothing too bad up there in the north. So that's looking good for us as well. And yes, so now I'm going to go ahead. I'm happy with this. I need to do my fuel planning. So I'm gonna take the fuel. I want to arrive at least 3 tons of fuel on board the aircraft. All right, given that 24 to 2600 is the minimum for 1 hour, I just want to have a nice reserve of 3000. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to generate the flight plan and get all the relevant details that we need. All right, here we go. That's created, and you can see we're going to get 37,000 feet, flight level 370 is what we'll be cruising at initially, and then we're looking at an estimated takeoff weight of 68.4 tons, and that's going to give us, and here's the SID and everything that we're going to be using. So what I want to do initially now is I just want to bring up the airport information. So if I bring up VIDP, look for the 10-9 plate. If it's too much to scroll, just put 10-9 in here and you will get it immediately. Yep, here we go, 10-9. So as you can see, we're parked right over here, actually at gate Alpha 3, and we are going to take runway 28 departure, so pushing back probably onto Charlie. Maybe from Charlie we go on to Alpha, and then from Alpha we can head down towards taxiway Kilo, and then it's basically straight down Kilo to Juliet 7, and then we'll line up at runway 28 and depart. We are using the Ali departure, so more specifically we're using the Ali 6 Bravo. So let me bring that back up there on the SIDs. There's no SID showing. Oh no, that's because I clicked on this one. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay, so the Aligarh, which is 6 Charlie, was it? See my short-term memory? 6 Bravo, I'm so sorry, 6 Bravo. Alright, the 6 Bravo SID, so I'm referring to plate number 10-3 Delta effective the 13th of July. It's an RNAV SID for Delhi, India, and it's the Aligarh 6 Bravo, Ali 6B, that's what it's identified as. So taking off from a runway 28. So basically we take off 284 degrees to BPAN, maximum speed 250 knots and 5,000 feet or higher. Then we make a left-hand turn down to Delta Bravo 680, again maximum speed 250, flight level 0900 or lower. Then on to Delta Papa 681, flight level 100 or higher, and then Delta Papa 682 with a flight level of 120 or higher. And then onwards to the Aligarh VOR and then outbound. So this VOR is what we're going to plug into our RadNav page, because that's what we're going to track outbound. And then onto the airways and onwards towards Tibet. So that's the plan we've got for that. And now the last thing left for me to do is going to be, if I just bring that back up again, yes, transition is at 5,000 feet. All right, so that's good. Now coming over here, just going to come back to this, and our gross weight is 68447. Going to put that in there, and our trim today is going to be about, stand by with me as I just load up our fuel. Give me 1 second. Alright, fuel is loaded. 9.27 tons of fuel has been loaded onto the aircraft. So given looking at my current load sheet, my gross weight is actually 68619, and I've got a CG today of 27.2. I'm going to take a flaps 1 takeoff, air conditioning on. I'm in VIDP, and hopefully it'll let me choose a runway. No, it doesn't. Of course it won't. And I'll get the METAR information anyways for that. And now we come back here, and we'll come back to our 10-9 plate and have a look at this. So runway 28, it's 3813 meters, so that's over here. 3813 meters. Runway head-in is going to be 284. It's dry conditions as of right now. I'm gonna put runway 28 in there, and the QNH is 1011 33290. So that's all checked out, and I'm gonna hit calculate. And here we go. Here's our calculation. So we can have our trim of 1 with an up of 0.3, flex 68 today, 147, 147, and 152. All right, so it's going to be a standard left-hand departure, left seat departure, me flying the aircraft onto the SID, and then in case of an engine failure, we will continue on runway direction, climb into our MSA, which will be the minimum safe altitude in this region is going to be 2,600 feet, and then we'll probably vector ourselves back around the airport and then come back in for a landing for an ILS in runway 28. Okay, so that's the briefing for that, just in case. All right, if we do have to abort the takeoff, we'll stop on the runway and then we'll make an exit of Kilo 9, and then we'll hold there and then see what we have to do. All right, guys, so that's the takeoff briefing. And now it's time to head off into the cockpit, program all of this in, and get out of here. All right, see you guys back in the cockpit. All right, welcome back to the cockpit. So I'm just gonna get that going over there. I think I can disconnect the external power now. And QNH is 1011, 1011 set on both sides. And constraints on, and initially we're going up to 5,000 feet, and then we'll increase it as we go along. And yeah, so looking at the MCDU, if we do the diff strip, I went to data, aircraft status, I checked that the navigational database is valid, and it is as of today. Then I came to the init A page, I put all the details in there, and also our cruising flight level. Then I came over to flight plan and I plugged in all of the details, the SID, and all of the waypoints in the middle, including what we're expecting over in Tibet. And then after that came to secondary flight plan, and I made Indira Gandhi Airport runway 28 as our secondary flight plan for an ILS to return, which you can see right over there. If I zoom in a bit, you can see there in white, we're coming back there in case of any failures. Then on the RadNav page, I hard-tuned Ali on both sides, because that's the VOR we're tracking outbound from here. I've cross-checked the ILS and frequencies and course, it's all good. And then finally I came to the Init Bravo page where I plugged in all our details over here. And also performance wise, I've put in our V speeds and our flaps and trim and flex. All right, so it's all set up right now, and all that's left to do now would be to basically just get the aircraft, do the pushback and start up and get the aircraft going. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and do the cockpit preparation checklist, which is gear pins and covers. They are removed. Fuel quantity is checked at 9.26 tons. Seat belts, they are currently on, which is good. And the IRSs are in nav, and the barrel reference is 1011, and we're reading just about 770 feet, and it's cross-checked and also on the ISIS. So that's the cockpit preparation checklist completed. And now the before start checklist is going to be parking brake, which is currently on. Then the takeoff speeds and thrust are inserted and set. Windows and doors, we can get them closed now. So if I turn on the beacon, and they're going to start closing the doors and preparing the aircraft for departure. And lastly would be the windows and doors and the beacon. I just turned it on just now, so all good. All right, so I'm pretty much ready for push and start, and once the doors are closed, so I'm gonna go ahead, push back, start the engines, and then I'll get back to you when we're just holding short of the runway, ready for takeoff. See you guys there. Alright, and here we are holding short of runway 28. So now it's time to just literally get the nose lights on. Strobes can go up as well. And 11,000 set, flight level 110 initially set. And yep, we're pretty much good to go. So parking brakes coming off. Gonna give it a little bit of thrust, and let's take her onto the runway. And while I do that, I can go ahead and do the lineup checklist, which is takeoff runway is 28 confirmed. TCAS can now go to TA and RA. Make sure everything else is nice and on. And yeah, the packs was on for takeoff, so that's the lineup checklist completed. So there's no aircrafts on final, no aircrafts on the runway as well. Runway 28 is identified. And away we go. Alright, just very looking fuel used, almost 200 kilos used for taxi. I'm gonna do a rolling start, rolling takeoff, guys, which means I'm not gonna stop the aircraft. Alright, you guys ready? Alright, here we go. Stabilized, chrono on, and here we go. Manflex 68, SRS runway, auto thrust blue. And takeoff thrust is set. Here we go. Knots. V1 and rotate. On the flight directors, positive rate of climb, landing gear up, nav. That's where we make our turn towards RSID. So I'm going to do a managed climb. So initially it's going to be 90. Over here we've got to be 5,000 feet or higher. And I believe we're going to make that. So very good. Okay, there's lever climb. So okay, thrust climb, climb, auto thrust white. And we're accelerating. Autopilot 1 on. Sweet, alright. Coming up over the haze. There's our S speed, so speed check, flaps up, disengage the spoilers, 2 auto lights off. As soon as we reach VPAN, we're going to be making the turn. Now you see this little triangle over here? This triangle is what we call an overfly triangle. You can actually add it to a waypoint by using this button here, the overfly button. Now the reason we have it there is because usually when you get to a waypoint and you're about to turn, okay, I'm just going to go standard very quickly before I explain that to you guys. Standard set, crossing 5,500 now. Alright, cross checked. Alright, so guys, usually the Airbus, when it's getting close to a waypoint, like 1.5–2 miles away, it starts the turn. But because we chose to overfly, it will now fly directly over it and then start the turn. Alright, so that's what the overfly means in the Airbus A320. Alright, so if ever you see that little triangle, that means we must overfly it, which is probably an SID requirement. So that's why we decided to to fly over it and then start the turn. Otherwise, usually by about 2 miles before the waypoint, it would start the turn to the next waypoint, usually. But yeah, so that's what that means, guys. All right, looking at our optimums today, it's 340. So I'm gonna go ahead and set 340 in there as well, and I'm gonna go number 1, put that there. 340 set. We can change it as we go along. All right, so now we're going to level off over here because our constraint is for 9,000 or below at this waypoint, at the next waypoint. So as soon as, so that's why we're not exceeding 9,000. Even though I have set 34,000 in here, the aircraft is now at all constraint, which means it's not going to go above 9,000 until we pass this waypoint, and then it will continue on. So I'll show you that in just a couple of minutes. So in less than 2 minutes we're gonna get there, and then you'll see the aircraft, the constraint gets cancelled, and then it just goes right back up to wherever the next constraint is. Now the next constraint is going to be 10,000 or below, so it's probably going to go from 9,000 to 10,000, or rather flight level 90 to flight level 100. And then after that, if I zoom out a little bit, then there's 120, but no restrictions, 120 or higher, in fact. So if you come here, yeah, at 682, it's 120 or higher. So we'll continue climbing out from that point on. So now as we get closer to Delta Papa 680, you're gonna see that the aircraft will immediately start to climb immediately after that. And there's Delhi. Anyway, back to our instruments. So now we're just 5 miles away, maintaining 250. Here we go. We've just reached, you can see, just about 2 miles before, because there's no overfly, the aircraft is already starting its turn to the next waypoint, to intercept the next waypoint. And as soon as it crosses over to the next waypoint up here, there we go, 681. The next constraint is flight level 100. So the aircraft is climbing, and it will stop at flight level 100, and it will stay at 100 until flight level 12, until this waypoint, and then it's going to continue on climbing. Watch what happens. You see, it's in magenta, it's a constraint. It's now going to level us off at flight level 100. Unless the air traffic control clears you to climb unrestricted, you have to follow these constraints that are on the SID. Alright, so we're at 10,000, there's no more speed restriction, so we're going to accelerate to a higher speed, but we're maintaining an altitude constraint of flight level 100. We are 10,000, so I can go ahead, turn these two guys off. Weather's good, seatbelt signs can come on. We're going airport, and we're coming down here, and we're going to clear the rad nav, and yep, should be good to go. Excellent. Alright guys, I'll get back to you when we are in our cruise. And here we are, up at flight level 350. And we're inbound to Bravo Whiskey Alpha, which is a VOR, and then after that we're going to Naran, and then KTM, not the motorcycle, Kathmandu actually, right over Kathmandu. And then after that we're going to go to Khimti, and then from Khimti we go left and make our way northward towards Tibet. So yeah, all that's left to do now is get myself a cup of coffee and just relax and let the time go by until we reach about 200 miles away from Tibet, and then we're going to start checking the weather and prepare for the descent approach and arrival into Tibet. So I'll get back to you guys when I'm over there. Hello, hope you're enjoying your flight so far, and we're about just over an hour into the flight, and we're coming up just 7.4 miles above Kathmandu. So right down there is Nepal, Kathmandu. and what I believe to be Mount Everest right there in front of us. And we're at flight level 350. By the way, guys, in case you didn't know, when an aircraft is flying towards the east, we use odd numbers like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. If we're flying towards the west, we use even numbers, all right, like 2, 4, 6, 8. All right, just remember that. I believe there's an acronym for it, like east is best or west is least or something like that. I have no idea, but I can't remember it. But nonetheless, whenever we're flying towards the east, we use odd numbers. So in this case, I'll be flying at flight level 350, and if I was flying towards the west in the other direction, I'll be using 340 or 360. All right. And if you were wondering about north and south, so when we're flying towards the north, we will use odd numbers, and if we're going south, we use even numbers. All right, so a little bit of information for you guys over there. All right, I just crossed past Kathmandu, and now I'm on my way towards Kimti, about 44 miles away. Then I'm going to make a left-hand turn and head south. Head north. All right. And looking at my optimums, I'm at optimum 350, which is what I'm doing right now. So yeah, I'll probably just stay here until it's time to descend. And if I zoom out a little bit, see that little marker right there? That's a 200-mile ring that I've drawn around Tibet. So just waiting until we get there, and then we're gonna start preparing for the descent, approach, and arrival. All right, I'll get back to you guys when it's time for the briefing of that. All right, in the meantime, sit back, relax, continue to enjoy the flight. Welcome from the top of the Himalayan mountain range. So I'm still at flight level 350, and yeah, I'm just about to cross into that 200-mile marker around Tibet. So now would be a good time to start looking at the weather, get the information we need, and plan and prepare for the descent, approach, and landing. All right, so I'll see you guys back over at the computer. Okay, so here we are. If I just zoom out a little bit here, you can see we're right here at Nonim, and we're making our way north to Romeo Kilo Zulu, and then onwards towards the airport in Tibet. All right, so initially, let's first thing we want to do is come over to Gonggar Airport, and we're going to bring up the weather, and it says there's no METAR available. Awesome. Okay, what about a TAF or ATIS? No, none of that is available as of right now. Let me see if we had some notes in the pre-flight briefing. Let me try and edit this and see if we can pick that up over there, because for some reason, if this airport's not very well published, online at least, we're not going to get very good information. So let's see what we can find here. Again, no METARs. Okay, but as of right now, no, we don't have any METARs. Okay, so this is a interesting situation we find ourselves in. All right. All right, nonetheless, we don't have any METARs for the airport as of right now. No ATIS information, nothing on VATSIM as well. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to look at the charts. All right, looking at the airport, which is the 10-9 plate, effective the 15th of June from 1600 Zulu, more specifically. It is for Gonggar in Lhasa in Tibet. All right, so the airport, it's a pretty long runway, 13,123 feet, 4,000 meters of runway, and they've got runway directions of 09 and 27, left and right. And given that the airport they do have a star, Romeo Kilo Zulu, all right, and that's exactly what we would be expecting to be using. All right, so we will take we're coming up over here to Romeo Kilo Zulu, that view are there, so we can take the Romeo Kilo Zulu 01 Alpha arrival, and that's going to take us into runway 27 right. Okay, So as you can see, the procedure, by the way, I'm looking at plate number 10-2, effective the 24th of February at 1600 Zulu. It's a star. So we'll take that, which and then what we're going to do now is we're going to make our way straight towards the Lhasa VOR, which is Lima X-ray Alpha. All right, and over there we've got to be 23,630 feet, right? Which, if I try to convert that into metric, so 23,630 would be, standby, I'm just doing the calculations, 630. So I'll round it to 26,000. So that's about 10,000. It's about 10,000, 8,138 meters. All right, give or take. So what we're going to do now is we're basically just going to make our way over here, all right, to 23,630 feet at the Lhasa VOR. And then what we can do is there is a visual approach and then there's an ILS for runway 27 right. So let's take the ILS, all right. So the ILS is going to be plate number 11-1. And it's got a missed approach gradient of a minimum of 3%, all right, effective from the 15th of June, 1600 Zulu, ILS DME, runway 27 right. And as you can see, it's a pretty straightforward one. It starts at the VOR at 23,630 feet, all right, and from there we're basically going to make our way over to 20 miles out LXA, and descending down to 18,540 feet. Then we're going to make a left-hand turn to join the ILS, descending down to 17,560 feet, and then we join the ILS at about 18 miles away from the ILS, 18.5 miles from the ILS, down to our minimums for category minimums over here are going to be 13,781 feet, or 2,077 feet above ground level. All right, the frequency is 110.3 ISS, and the final course is 269. The final approach fix starts at 17,560 feet, and the decision height is 13,781 feet. The minimum safe altitude in this region, given all the terrain around us, and we're descending deep into a valley, it's 21,700 in the west, 20,700 in the northeast, and 20,100 in the south and southeast. All right, so that's what we're looking at. And in case of missed approach, climb straight ahead to a distance of 8.8 LXA away from the Lhasa VOR at 15,750 feet. Then turn right at a maximum speed of 190 knots back to the VOR at 20,670 feet or above, and then contact air traffic control. Airport elevation is 11,711 feet, and runway elevation is 11,704. All right, so that's what we're dealing with today in terms of our approach and landing. Pretty straightforward though. And when we do get there, we're going to go ahead and do let's see, we can probably be able to exit at Alpha 4 and then take it into the parking zones over here. All right, so Alpha 4 onto Alpha, and then Alpha 3, and then make a left down and then come towards the parking base. All right, so that's pretty much the plan I've got for our arrival. We can use auto brakes low for this landing, so let's go ahead and prepare all this into the box and perform it. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Alright, we're in the Tibetan region, still at flight level 350, so now it's time to prepare everything. By the way guys, this airport uses meters, okay? So if ever you're flying into a region where they're using meters instead of feet, instead of having to do the conversion all the time, all you gotta do is push this button here. See metric altitude? Push that, and then now on the primary flight display, it's telling you exactly where you are. Alright, so right now we're at flight level 350, which is 10,667 feet, or 10,668 meters. Alright, and if I change the altitude, you can also see whatever I dial in. I dialed in 23,000, That's how much it is in meters. So it's a very handy tool to have that there, which I'm going to be using actually today. So now I want to do the hatch sequence and get the aircraft set up and ready. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put Zulu Uniform Lima Sierra 27 right for the runway. Okay, then I'll come to flight plan, and so from the flight plan it stops at the Lima X-ray Alpha VOR. Okay, so I'll come in here, arrivals. I've already chosen 27 right. I'm going to go via the Lima Zulu Alpha VOR. Alright, and if I come to plan constraints, about 20 miles. Now you can see that I've chosen the correct runway via the VOR, and that's the star I'm going to be doing. Insert that. So now as we cycle along, you can see that it's already done the procedure for us. It's already programmed the procedure in for us. We're going to hit that at 23,630 feet, and then we're going to go outbound about 20 miles, descending to 18,540, then make a left-hand turn to 8, and then down to the final approach fixed altitude, and then onto the ILS. All right, so everything is nicely sequenced. We're about 181 miles away. So I'll come to progress. I've already done that. The progress is Zulu Uniform Lima Sierra 27 right. And now what we're going to do is we're basically going to go ahead and go to the performance page, and now I need to put in the details, which is not going to be easy because I have to get it. So I'm going to get it from the online. I'm going to try and find it from online, and I'm going to get it in there. In real life, obviously we would get it via the ATIS information, but for some reason right now I am not picking up that information, so no can do. As of right now, Microsoft Flight Sim is not getting that, so I'm gonna skip that for now, but I will put in our minimums, which is 13,781. all right, 13,781, gonna put it there. The transition altitude here is flight level 266. All right, so that's also there. 246 it says there. I'm gonna put 266 in there for the transition altitude. I have no idea what the wind or the temperature is, but I've got my minimum, so I'm still okay. I'll probably be relying more on the radio altimeter for this one here. Fuel prediction, we're looking good. And now we come to secondary flight and copy the active one. And now I'm going to try and find that information, and then I'll plug it in and we can go ahead. So as of right now, I'm at flight level 350 and I need to descend to 23,630. So bring up my trusty calculator, 35,000 divided, minus 23,630 means I need to lose about 11,370 feet, and divide that by 1,000. All right, that's 11 points. So I'll round it out to 12. All right, so 12 times 3 plus 5 at about 41 miles away. I'm gonna start my descent. So I'm gonna come here, fix info, Zulu Uniform Lima Sierra 27 right, and I'm gonna put 41 miles radius around the airport, and the runway directions are, standby, and the runway directions are 089 and 269. So 089 in there. There we go. So now it's pretty much set up right over there. There's the 41-mile ring around the airport, and we can go ahead and start the descent once we get there. All right, this is going to be an auto brakes low approach landing, and so far so good. And once I start the descent, I'll do the approach checklist. All right, so that's what's all coming up shortly. I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. All right, here we are at the top of descent. So let me see, we want to come down to 23,630. So I'm gonna come here, make it 23 or 24 rather, and I'm gonna make it 23,700. I'd rather stay a little bit higher, so I'm gonna push. Okay, descent alt and 237 blue. And since transition is 26,000, I'm gonna go ahead and push that. By the way, I did get the information online, so The QNH is 998, temperature is 19 degrees today with 187 degrees at 9 knots is the winds. So I got all that information in there. So QNH is 998, gonna set that in there over here, 998, and push that in there, and 998 as well over there, and cross-check on the standby. And yes, we have now actually started our descent into Tibet, Lhasa Airport. Lovely. All right, so now all that's left to do is get the seatbelt signs going, and I can go ahead now and do the approach checklist, which is barrel reference is 998, and it's 33,750 now. Checked. Minimums are 13781 feet. Auto brakes are low, and the engine mode selector is normal. So the approach checklist is completed, and pretty much straight ahead is the airport. Somewhere there in that valley is our airport. And guys, would you look at Tibet? I mean, snow-capped mountains over there, rocky mountains over here, some with slight snow caps around the area. I mean, right as of right now, in the altitude I'm at, it's 12 degrees below freezing. So yeah, there we go, guys. I see the airport right down there. There's the airport. So I probably need to use, I'm not gonna get to my altitude in time. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna see what altitude I need to be at. All right, cool. So I need to be at final approach peak 17,560. All right. So now what I need to do is, and over there it's 17.5, but then just at the LX A320 I need to be at 18,1540. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put 17,000 right over there. Okay. Oh, what is it again? 17,560. Okay, so 17.6, and I'm gonna pull. All right, thrust idle, open descent. Now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna deploy the speed brakes. Lovely. And what I want to do now is I'm basically going to activate the approach phase as well, and I'm going to pull the speed, and I'm going to keep the speed at about 250. Okay, or rather 240, so I can get the landing gear down. So now we're descending, and as you can see, that little blue needle there, it's telling us that we're not going to reach 17,000 by the time we get there. All right, we need that needle to be somewhere around here, and it's gone. So what I need to do now is I'm going to go pull on the vertical speed, and I'm gonna go and descend. I'm gonna initially, we can usually go up to 5,000 feet vertical speed. So as you can see now, I brought it to 3,000. All right, you see, this is how we manage the FCU. I've got negative 3,000 vertical speed, and it's put me here. You see that needle? It's over there. Now watch what happens if I reduce the vertical speed. I'm gonna reduce it now to minus 2,500. The needle's moved over there. So let me go ahead and bring it to about, say, 1,500. 1,000 minus 1,500 feet per minute, and the needle's just after the final approach fix. So let's increase the descent, make it 1,600. all right, and it's sitting right there, guys. So now I know that at this rate of descent I will get to the targeted altitude at the right time. So I can even store the speed brakes now, and everything's looking well. My speed's at 240, so that's looking comfortable for me right there. And yeah, so that is how we manage the descent and the approach. We're just about so Lima X-ray Alpha. So I want to put Lima X-ray Alpha into the VOR. Lima X-ray Alpha, that's the VOR for Tibet, for Lhasa. So we're just 3.6 miles away from them, and now we're making our turn outbound. And as you can see, altitude is still looking good. But now think about this. While I get there, I need to start configuring, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower my speed down to the minimum clean speed, which is about 220. And it still says I'm going to get there on a good schedule, even though because I'm maintaining vertical speed. All right, so I haven't changed the angle at which I'm descending or the rate at which I'm descending. However, I do need to get my speed down. So how do I do that? I don't want to touch the vertical speed. That would mess this up. I don't want to do anything right here as well. So speed brake. Let the speed bring out the speed brake, and that is going to bring our speed down. See that? Now our speed is dropping. Lovely. And also what I want to do is I want to come here and do a high altitude landing. It's going to turn that on. All right, so that's looking good as well. So far so good. Speed has reduced dramatically, but look at it this way. In case the speed is not dropping the way I want it to, all I have to do is get the landing gear down. So speed is good, altitude is decreasing. We need to be 18,850 or higher here. So everything's looking all right in terms of our altitude. We have to be 18,540 or higher here, 18,540 or higher here as well. So as long as we're above 18,540, we can we're pretty much good to go. And I think with this with my current calculation, we're gonna maintain that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to do a non-standard gear down. I'm going to get the landing gear down and I'm going to store the speed brake. That's why I brought our speed down to below 250 so that the landing gear will deploy. Now with the gear in transition, you can see that our speed, even though the speed brake is now stored, we are slowing down, which is amazing. And now that I'm at the green dot speed, I can go ahead and give myself flaps 1. It didn't quite like that. Flap lever not at 0. Don't worry about that part there. Now I'm going to reduce this down here. Supposed to get the high altitude landing button going, but for some reason it's not working. I don't know why, but that's okay, no worries. All right, I'm gonna clear that message. Don't worry about it. The aircraft is just confused. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna manage our speed. So we're now at S speed. Once we get below that, I can go ahead and give ourselves flaps 2. We're still descending on profile. In fact, I could reduce the rate of descent just a little bit. There we go, putting that right on there. And the aircraft does not want to slow down either, so I'm going to go selected, and our approach speed is going to be 140 today, so I'm going to select 140. And that's going to force the aircraft to bring the speed down. So now looking over there, I'm not getting the markers because I'm not able to activate the high altitude landing. But I do know that flaps 2 can be at a speed of 200 or below. So I'm going to go ahead now and select flaps 2. There we go, flaps 2 is coming out. And should have brought on the landing screens a long time ago. We should get the ILS information soon as well. And we're turning into the valley. Alright. And it is quite clear today, so in case I don't get the ILS, I'll probably do a visual, but either way, we're gonna be alright. Alright, now with the gear down, I can go ahead and go for, let's see, how far out am I? I am 24 track miles. So I'm gonna keep my speed at 160 for now. Keep it at high speed until we pick up the localizer and ILS information. All right. All right, so now we are pretty much heading straight for that. We're not picking up the ILS information, which is a little bit daunting, but what to do? All right, coming up on our final approach fix. Okay, I got the localizer, so I'm gonna arm the approach and the second autopilot as well. Hopefully the glide slope will also come in soon. Let me get the aircraft down a little bit faster. I'm gonna go flaps 3 now, arm the spoilers, get the lights going as well. Okay, lock. So we've captured the localizer, and in case the glide slope is out, I'm just gonna maintain what I can for that. So we're doing 160 now. And you know what, I think it probably would be a good idea to do a config 3 landing. So let's do config 3 landing. I've selected there, and I've selected landing flaps 3 over here as well. We're now maintaining altitude. We should be descending, but we don't have the glide slope. So this is a 3-degree descent, and I'm gonna slow us down to our landing speed of 143. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start a gentle descent of about 800 feet per minute down towards the runway. All right. All right, we're descending, and I do see the airport up ahead. So now I'm just maintaining 800 feet a minute on our descent profile. And if I bring up my Navigraph chart and I bring up the ILS, I hope you guys can see it clearly. You can see that the descent starts at 18.5 miles away, which I'm going to level off now because I'm at that altitude. All right. And 18.5 is when we start the descent. It's a 3-degree descent at 140 miles, 700 to 800 feet a minute. So now what I can do is 18.3, so we're gonna come down and 800 feet per minute, and we're starting our descent. So we're using the localizer to keep us there, but because the glide slope never came in, we're gonna go ahead and use our reference here. So over here at 16 miles we have to be 16,800. all right. So I'm actually a little low. I'm at 17 miles and I'm already 16,800. So I'm going to go ahead and level us off over here at 16,800. And then the next one comes at 14 miles, 16,160. All right. So now, as soon as we cross the 1600, there we go. Now I'm gonna put about 800 feet a minute in there again, and gonna start the descent down. And now we have the glide slope. Yay! So let me see if I can catch it from the top. In fact, let's go for a full configuration landing. Flaps 3, flaps full. Yep, I'm gonna descend. The glide slope just came in, so I'm gonna try and capture this glide slope now from the top. So I'm gonna descend at about 3,000 feet per minute, and the glide slope is armed, so as soon as we capture it, we're good to go. And the go around altitude is 15,750, so I'll put 15,800. Glide slope star, excellent. This is working out very well for us. Oh, a little stressful, but okay, no problem. Glide slope star. Let's see if I manage to speed. What's it doing? 160 for some reason. All right, I'll keep it at 140. We're on glide slope star now, so the aircraft is maintaining that. I can go ahead and set okay, we got glide slope, so 15,750, so 15,800, okay, to be on the safe side. And I'm gonna go ahead now and do the landing checklist. The memo has not come because we're still not 2,000 feet above ground level, but I'm gonna go ahead and manually do it. So the ECAM memo should be landing gear down. We are down and tree green. The seatbelt signs should be on. They are in fact on. The cabin should maintain that they're ready. They are ready. Spoilers are armed, and the flaps are set to full. Everything is ready for landing, and we have traffic in front of us as also at the same time. How lovely. Alrighty. Excellent. So there's the runway. I see the runway straight ahead. Now we're just gonna commit to the landing. Tibet, my first time, by the way. Alright, Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, barrow set. Since the airport elevation is 11,700 feet, at about 13,000 we should hit the 2,000 feet above ground level. And there's the city of Tibet, Lhasa, right over there. See those little buildings? That's the city right there. Super interesting. People live out here, guys. This is another country, another culture. Super.
100 above.
Okay.
Minimum.
Continue. Alright, I'm gonna go autopilot off. And let's see if I can hand fly this baby in.
$2,000.
Checked. They've got flowing rivers at this altitude. That's pretty amazing. Alright, I'm going visual. So flight directors off, bird on, and final approach course is 269. Set.
$1,000.
Checked.
Too low terrain.
Yes, yes. Okay, let's
Too low terrain.
Let's turn that off because we don't want him shouting.
$500.
500 checked.
$400. $300. $200. $100. $50. $40. $30. $20. Retard.
Thrust lever is idle.
5.
Touchdown. Okay. Spoilers, reverses are green, and decel on the auto brakes. Okay. Waiting for 70 knots. There we go. 70. Auto brakes off. I'm on idle reverse now. And I can just massage the brakes very gently. Go full idle on the reverses. And here we are, guys. Welcome to Lhasa in Tibet. I can probably take the next exit and work my way towards the gates. Alright, I'll probably exit over here. Slowing it down. And let's clean up the aircraft. Flaps are coming up. TCAS off. weather radar and terrain radar off as well. Okay, I need to go to the right, to the left actually, and then come back around that way, I guess. Okay, will do. Or I'm just gonna cheat and come this way. And I'm gonna landing lights off, strobes off, and let's start the APU as well. Alright, and that's the after landing checklist completed. Now let's find a place to park. Air New Zealand apparently operates a 320 here. Who would have thought? Yep, we can take that one over there. I can literally feel the aircraft struggling. The engines are struggling with this high altitude. There we go. Nice. Lights off. Yeah, we got a marshaller. I assume you want me to stop here or run you over, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna stop here, guys. Alright, parking brake on. APU is available, so APU bleed can come on and shut in on 1, shut in down 2. Alright, welcome to Lhasa, Tibet, guys. This has been an interesting one. I thought I was not gonna get the glide slope and I had to do manually do the landing. I mean, do the vertical speed and stuff, but eventually it did appear and it came up and we were able to land the aircraft safely right here. And here we are parked at the airport, Lhasa International Airport in Tibet. Guys, hope you like this one. Hope you found the information about managing your speed and stuff like that on the FCU useful. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below and I'll be happy to reply you. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And for those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much, and a special thank you to our members who are supporting us and helping us keep this channel running. God bless you all. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Hi, do you live in Dubai or are you in the United Arab Emirates? Are you an aviation enthusiast? Do you play flight simulator on your computer at home? Would you like to have the ultimate experience of flying an Airbus A320 in a real cockpit environment? Or are you a real-world pilot and you're looking to practice for an upcoming airline assessment? Or do you just want to master the Airbus aircraft? Are you a pilot looking to level up your knowledge and experience in instruments and navigation? Or maybe you're thinking of becoming a pilot in the future, but you're not yet sure if this is the path for you. Well, whatever your requirements may be, we're here for you. Book a session in our Airbus A320 flight simulator and come experience flying with a real-world pilot by your side as your instructor, guiding you along every step of the way. All ages are invited. Just scan the QR code or contact us via the details below for more information. See you guys in the cockpit soon.